East Asia Forum, 13th of March 2024, the aggression of China escalates in the South China Sea. China has employed coercive tactics in the South China Sea to assert dominance over minor and economically disadvantaged nations. A record-breaking number of Chinese Coast Guard, CCG, and maritime militia personnel were deployed to the South China Sea in 2023, with unprecedented levels of aggression and for extended durations. Maritime tensions have centered on the Philippines, compelling the government to increase defense collaboration with the United States and its allies. Admiral Samuel Paparo, commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, observed in November 2023 that Chinese officers were complying with directives to engage in more aggressive engagements with Western forces. Acting Deputy Secretary of Defense of the United States Mara Karlin condemned unprofessional and dangerous conduct on the part of the People's Liberation Army in the same month. According to a report published in January 2024, physical encounters between Philippine and Chinese ships increased at an alarming rate during routine rotation and resupply missions to 2nd Thomas Shoal in the second half of 2023. The Philippines took a more proactive stance in 2023 regarding safeguarding its exclusive economic zone and sovereign jurisdiction. Amid China's provocative and coercive actions, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. launched an assertive transparency campaign to bring attention to such incidents in near real time. The frequency of Philippine Coast Guard, PCG, patrols was augmented to resupply and safeguard Filipino fishermen. However, China consistently contested maritime patrols in the West Philippine Sea, asserting they infringed upon Chinese sovereignty. A spokesperson for China's Southern Theater Command disclosed at the end of October 2023 that a Philippine Navy frigate had been issued a warning for trespassing in the waters surrounding Scarborough Shoal. China had confronted Philippine naval vessels engaged in operations in the West Philippine Sea for the second time in the past 3 weeks. Low tide elevation 2nd Thomas Shoal emerged as a significant arena of conflict as China implemented assertive measures to impede Philippine rotation and resupply operations to the beached BRP Sierra Madre. In October, 7 Chinese vessels surrounded and obstructed the passage of 4 Philippine resupply boats, constituting a significant incident. A second incident occurred in December 2023 when CCG vessels engaged PCG vessels in combat and discharged water cannons. China deployed as many as 27 boats around the 2nd Thomas Shoal later that month to obstruct resupply. The defense collaboration between the Marcos administration and the United States has intensified in reaction to Chinese aggression. In February 2023, the Philippines granted the United States temporary rotational access to 4 additional bases, bringing the total to 9 bases by the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. The Armed Forces of the Philippines organized the 38th and most extensive exercise Balikatan in April 2023. The event drew over 17,600 participants, most from the United States. The Philippines and the United States conducted their first simultaneous bilateral sail in the South China Sea since 2016 in September 2023. The following month, the Philippines, the United States, and 6 additional nations participated in the 7th and largest exercise Sama-Sama. Additionally, the Philippines initiated communication with Australia and several neighboring nations. In June 2023, national security advisors from the Philippines, the United States, and Japan convened for the first time to strengthen trilateral defense cooperation. During the same month, the PCG conducted its inaugural trilateral exercises in the South China Sea with Japanese and American counterparts. 120 United States Marines participated in the inaugural exercise alone, a bilateral amphibious exercise conducted by Australia and the Philippines in the South China Sea, in August 2023. During Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's visit in September, bilateral relations between Australia and the Philippines were elevated to the status of a strategic partnership. Significant advancements were also achieved in pursuing a Code of Conduct, COC, for maritime activities in the South China Sea during Indonesia's tenure as ASEAN chair. The 32nd ASEAN Coordinating Council meeting and ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat, held in February 2023, reached the consensus that Indonesia should develop novel strategies and approaches to expedite the COC negotiation process. Jakarta organized the 38th ASEAN-China Joint Working Group on implementing the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, DOC, the following month. After a 2-year absence, Vietnam hosted the 20th ASEAN-China Senior Officials Meeting on the DOC in May. The 56th ASEAN Ministerial Meeting, held in Jakarta in July 2023, declared the completion of the second of 3 readings of the COC. Concurrently, the ASEAN-China Post-Ministerial Conference adopted guidelines to expedite negotiations on a COC in the South China Sea. The parties agreed in October to finalize the COC within 3 years. Frustrated by the sluggish progress of the talks, Marcos declared that he would consult Malaysia, Vietnam, and other nations regarding an independent COC. In response to a significant escalation in Chinese aggressiveness in the South China Sea, the Philippines implemented a more proactive strategy in 2023 to safeguard its sovereign jurisdiction in the West Philippine Sea by augmenting patrol operations, focusing on the vicinity of Second Thomas Shoal. Defense cooperation between the Philippines, the United States, and its allies was significantly increased to bolster Philippine capabilities and deter future Chinese aggression. If the Philippines does not initiate measures to augment defense infrastructure on other islands in the West Philippine Sea or deviates from routine rotation and resupply missions to Second Thomas Shoal, tensions in the region could potentially escalate in 2024.